Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM20 Career Mode, episode 180. So here's the thing: we're so close to the end of the series because PCM21's on the verge of coming out. I want to be able to commit to that fully. We've done a lot of seasons here, so there were a good few more stages where we really would have had a shot at doing something here at the Tour de France. But following our attempts last time, we took a few stages. We went for it, and we came close. I mean, we got 2 podiums, but we didn't win a stage. So be it. Honestly, it really doesn't matter how we actually do on that. Now, we're at the end. We just finished. We arrived in Paris. Talipov, 17th overall. Millar was about 12th for quite a while, and then he really plummeted in the last couple mountain stages, lost a ton of time, dropped all the way to 22nd. I mean, he lost a good 20 minutes in that stretch. He was not 8th, but he was, I said, about 12th place until that. Well, anyway, the one piece of good news, the glass half full, is that Pavel Rodriguez has defended and won his 3rd straight yellow jersey at the Tour de France, beating Egan Bernal by 19 seconds. Yamaguchi, minute and a half down. Paulus and Saseda round out the top 5. That was pretty surprising because Rodriguez was not even in the top 10 until the last few stages. No. Sorry, I take that back. He was not in the top 10 in the first half of the race. And then as we hit those climbing stages, and the time suddenly blew up as there were some significant time gaps at the end of some of those mountain stages, Rodriguez and that climbing ability shined through, and he climbed the table, and then all of a sudden those gaps blew up, and guys that were close suddenly dropped off, and he emerged in the lead kind of right at the end. So I don't know which stage exactly it was that he claimed the lead, as I wasn't paying that close attention while I was simming through, but I think it might have been somewhere around stage 19 or 20. It was very late on that he claimed victory in this one and picked up his 3rd straight yellow jersey. In the points classification, well, with the quick sim, very different team than what we're able to do in person. I mean, 2 of those 3 stages, we managed podiums. Without us at the helm, we barely even cracked the top 10 like twice out of 15 stages. I think our highest finish on any of those was 7th, 8th. So it was a very poor performance, and you can see McKinney, who was right there in the mix early, ends up 200 points down in a 6th place in the points classification. So, ouch. KOM, Paulus by just 2 points ahead of Saseda, and then Bernal, Guerrero well behind. 125s, Lemesel, fantastic. Talipov and Millar, though, as poor as we were, you could see that there just isn't a lot of young riders being brought to these tours. These are very strong veteran teams that are coming to the Grand Tours these days, and we are just not doing poorly as you would think, considering that we are young and most of the other teams are near max level at this point. So it's not as bad as it would seem. In terms of team classification, though, all the way down in 6th place, absolutely the worst performance we've had. We are heading into the signing period. We are heading into La Vuelta. We're heading into our final monument of the year, the World Championships. There's only going to be space for an episode or 2. Now, if you've seen my post on the channel, I mentioned that life has happened, as in sometimes life just throws things at you and you got to deal. Had some family emergency stuff. I've spent the better part of 2 days on the road, back and forth between hospitals and appointments and helping family in need. So I have not been around. I have not had time. And just as I was about to get caught up, I was right there. I was sensing it. I was feeling it. I was feeling good. And then this happens. And anyway, PCM21 is coming out next week. I might be getting my hands on it early. When you're dealing with a French company that just does not do English, you don't know with these things. I'm not sure whether I'm going to get it early or not. I'm trying to get my hands on it before next week, before release, which means I could have it today even, or in the next couple of days. Keeping an eye on the other English channels as well to see if suddenly somebody else is putting something out and I'm getting left in the dust here, and what I need to do to get involved in this one. Anyway, either way, it's coming soon. I'm going to be posting this shortly after I'm done recording it, and then I don't know what else I'll be able to get out. I'm going to try to get a couple more episodes anyway to wrap this season up. We'll see what we could do. So I'm going to be bypassing a lot of races we normally participate in for a quick wrap on the season. And then I'm going to be kind of pushing out whatever content I can over the next few days in whatever random order I'm able to get things, do things, and have that out there for you. But one thing to really keep an eye out for, roughly the same time that I'm going to be posting this video, I'm also going to be posting a poll. Be sure to check it out. Go to the channel if you need to, if you haven't seen it in your feed. But I'm posting a poll on a few variations of the same idea that I have. Got a few choices for you on which specific limitations I'm placing on my PCM21 career mode. Of course, as you know, this one we started with nothing. We started with no budget, with really poor riders, and then went from there. The budget's not going to be as much the issue this time, but I am going to have another similar difficulty placed upon myself, because for me, playing on the hardest difficulty isn't enough by itself. If I take a strong team, even on the hardest difficulty, I'm still crushing the competition. And we've seen that here, right? Still no budget, but I can get one good rider on my hands and go and win the Tour de France in back-to-back years. And win lots of stages, lots of races, finish at or near the top of the points, even though we're the last team qualifying for World Tour these last couple of years on the extreme difficulty. So for me, the game's too easy by itself. I have to place extra challenges, and go ahead, check that poll out, see which challenges are the options for this coming season, and let me know which one you'd like to see. It's a fun we're always waiting for contracts. First, we start with our own sponsorship. Back Bear, aka Black Bear. So we're looking at an offer of $214K per month, with that max being in the mid threes. Looking at the other two, we're already looking at better options. They have much higher estimation maxes, which means we would be looking at a higher contract, come next season. Sticking with Black Bear, you're looking at a similar increase to what we would have had. That increase goes up further. So that evolution, that step in the right direction, of course, in all of these seasons, we've only had a same sponsor once. We've only retained a sponsor a single time in all these years. And that's kind of what it takes to go higher and higher from nothing. Remember where we're at right now at not even 200. What are we even at? 180 or something. From that, I don't even think we're that high. I think we're 160 something. We started with less than 30,000. Massive difference in X number of seasons. I've actually lost track a little bit. We're probably 7 or 8 seasons in. We will at least wrap this up with a bit of a review of everything, summary that we've done, but we're not there yet. Well, anyway, the options are obvious. For one, we have no Canadian rider, so it doesn't matter at this point about the important territories. So a Polish sponsor, Iwi Drosh, I want to say. Yeah, let me know. Let me know, for those who do know, what the proper way of saying it. Not that we'll actually get a chance to be with this sponsor, but That's the obvious choice. It's more. It's the most of the three. Plus, it has a good max, nearly the same as Obox. So it would make sense to go with a French sponsor in this game, in this sport. But the Polish sponsor here, easy choice. And so we'll sign. And that gives us an extra 5,000. So 219 per month is what we're going to be working with as we start our contracts. So we enter the signing period in the best shape we've been in, period, by far, hands down. Of course, in the past, we've had this tendency to have one really outstanding rider who developed incredibly well, and then we'll have a couple that are on their heels and not that far behind, and just enough, right? That triple combination, and then a clear drop off from there, right? One very good rider, two good riders, and then everybody else is 3 or 4 points below. Well, then all of a sudden, this season, we find ourselves in a totally different scenario. We had 6 riders a month and a half ago that were 77 plus. We had 3 78s and we had 3 77s. That is uncharted territory. And of course, as we were going through the Giro, that was kind of that regular point of conversation is we have top end depth like we've never had it before. We don't have that great rider, and that's why we weren't competing to win the Giro, but then we ended up through team effort having that fantastic top 5. Now in the Tour, through quick simulation, right, we saw that the team only managed 17th place and barely even squeezed into the top 10 in any stages whatsoever. We were still all over the under 25s category with 2 riders on the podium, not winning, but you could see that really the team's not there and on the verge. But here's the thing. Over the last month and a half, we've seen 3 of those 6 riders in that 78, 77 threshold level up. 3 of them. McKinney went from a 78 to a 79. Kolda went from a low 77 to a mid 78, seemingly, and AFP went from a high 77 to a low mid 78. So now all of a sudden we have a 79, 4 78s, and still a 77 in Hillary Breck, who you would think is probably not far off from leveling up themselves. Now, here's the key part about this. 5 of those 6 riders are signed already for next season, meaning we're not losing any key players. The one that we're losing, at least has contract ending, is Janko Rajkovic. Rajkovic is that guy. So Rajkovic was our second highest rated rider a month and a half ago, behind McKinney. Now he's 4th on the list. So his expiring contract at the moment doesn't impact us at all. Remember, your ranking depends on your top 3 riders and the average of those 3 riders. At the moment, on paper, we find ourselves in the index in 4th place. We're not going to stay 4th place because you've got all those large expiring contracts and you have all those teams with way more money than what we have. And a lot of those riders are going to re-sign with their teams or move on to new teams. And either way, we're going to plummet down that list. However, I would say that we're probably comfortable in terms of with the 3 we have. We shouldn't be at risk of getting relegated. I wouldn't say we'll stay inside the top 10, though, by any means. I think we'll drop outside of the top 10. But instead of being the last team or one of the last 2 teams in to World Tour for next season, we'll move up that list a bit. We're going to be in better shape. But there isn't something insanely different right now than what we had previously. Other than that, there's, with the expiring excluded, there's 5 outstanding riders, plus Talipov and Millar and Kolk right there on their heels. So that depth is showing its worth right now. And next season would be really exciting with this group. Here's the thing, though. We only have 2 expiring contracts on the entire team. The entire squad has 2 expiring contracts, okay? Obviously, we just pointed out one of those. That's Rajkovic. Okay, so Rajkovic is may be out. I want Reykjavik back. He's only 21 years old, 6'7" potential, 79.82. One of our two key sprinters, and we only have 3 sprinters on the team anymore, where we had quite a few guys making up a sprint team previously. We're definitely looking better in that department. But having an expiring contract when there's only 3 on the team means we absolutely need a sprinter, whether that's Reykjavik, whether we can afford to bring him back, or whether that's going to be somebody else. He is coming from a very small contract, as in literally minimum. We signed Reykjavik for minimum as an 18-year-old. Now, at 21, he's going to have a massive pay raise. The other expiring contract, extremely worthy of note, is that it's Aiden Amanatoglu. Second contract, he's a 5'8" potential, but he's only a 74. He started very, very low. He's 28 years of age. He may not be at level 20, as in he's done, as in he's maxed out, but he can't be far from it. I would say minimum he's got to be level 18 by now. And while he's only making 3,600 and as a 74 probably would not be expensive to re-sign, why? Why would I bother re-signing? That potential has already been realized, or very nearly, and he's not going to get much better than he is. So while Amanatoglu has done some good things for us, he's done. He's done. We're letting him go. But the key thing here is I have 2 expiring contracts among sprinters, and we only have 3 on contract. We need to have minimum 3. So we need to keep signing not just 1 replacement, but we need to re-sign 2 replacements at sprinter, guaranteed. And counting the money of those 2 and the budget for next year, and how we were already stretched right to the limit entering this season to sign all these guys that we now have this incredible depth for going forward. And again, next season would be freaking exciting for this squad, and it's terrible the timing of it. It would have been nice to have missed this season and just see. It's like, man, look what we've done. Look at that potential, but that's going to be a couple years away before it can be realized. Versus, oh, here we are. We are going to realize that potential. It's a little closer when you can taste it than when it's still some time off. So, okay, 2 expiring sprinters, and that's ultimately what we need. We would, of course, love to sign more than 2 riders and expand that squad out a little bit, as it has decreased in size over the last couple seasons, to sign bigger riders and have that depth at the top end and spend all that money on those guys. That has hurt us a little bit in terms of quantity. Here's our dossiers. We have gone in and we've got our 100% with Reykjavik. We've got quite a bit of green here, but you can see that there are 4 of these riders that we have not gotten to that 100% interest. And doing the math, I have exactly 63,000. That's it. That's how much budget we have for signing. 63K. Tricky. Very tricky. See what we can do. Reykjavik is the best option, and he's only 5 points to try to sign. I was actually worried he was going to ask for a whole lot more money than this. If we can sign him for something along these lines, I'm going to try to do less. We don't have a lot of patience, but he's got the 100% interest. If we can sign him for 25K, that is phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal. And we do. We get him signed for the 25K. Okay. Well, there you go. So we retain our top 6. And while that's a huge increase from 2,500 to 25,000 per month, that's still really good. That is really good. We still have 38K to play with for more riders. Whether that's 1 or 2 guys, I don't know. Reykjavik, other than Charette, was our best option. And Charette, I would love to get. But with the 56% interest and 12 points, I don't think going after him is going to be a good thing. I think he's going to cost us way too much money. He's probably going to be asking 50, 60, 70,000 as a higher average rider. And he's going to be difficult to sign. I think I'm better off going the other direction, adding some depth. Batagic, it's only going to cost me 3 points to try to talk to. Has 100% interest, is a 77 overall, and oh look, is a sprinter. And Amanatoglu, who's a 77-77, has nothing on Batagic, who, with a little bit of resistance as well, and a little bit of a flat rating as well, and a bit of a downhill rating as well, you get where I'm going with this, is already an improvement. And would give us 3 quality sprinters and not just 2 quality sprinters with 1 lead out guy. We have a team. And again, it's only going to cost me 3 points to try to talk to Antonio Batagic. So with a 5.8 potential, this is a no-brainer. At 13,000, this is a massive no-brainer. We're going to put him as sprinter. He has high interest. Let's see if he'll take 12. Let's see if he takes 11. He's got some patience. Almost. We have patience. Let's see what happens. Okay, he's not going to go for 12. Let's try 14. Oh, 1,000 away. 1,000. This will do it. 15,000. And he is signed for 15K. Still have 23 left, and we've already signed our minimum 2 sprinters that we needed. And I mean, look how good they are. Obviously, retaining Rajkovic is big on that, but we are adding another 77 to the squad. So we just went from 6 top-end guys to 7 top-end guys, and that's a definite improvement from the 77 overall. That is Amanatoglu. Next up is the 23-year-old Diesma. Diesma's a climber, 77, but he's already got a high mountain rating and good resistance. He's not going to win Grand Tours because he's not good in the time trial, but he's a strong climber, and those are the keys that we're going to need to get those guys who aren't a Pavel Rodriguez type, the Hillary Brecks of the world. This is what we need. We need a Kolda. We need a Diesma. We need strong support climbers, and then that makes a good, strong team effort. So this guy would be a great addition, and at 17,000 maybe, we're looking at another really strong climber, which we let go a few of those last season and didn't bring as many back in. Ooh, hates the money. So if we up that, oh gosh, we're not going to be signing this guy. We only have 23,000 anyway. That's all we can offer. Okay, so no Diesma. Only cost me 5 points to try, though. All right, that does knock us out of the 77s into the 76s. Arthur Fuca, not as good of a climber. Diesma, you can see, is at 80 mountain, 77 resistance. He would have been fantastic. $80 couple rating. I think I've got to try to go for this guy. He's 24, though. Denise, I don't need another low-level stage racer who develops in time. Caponera, though. 78, 80 mountain, 74 resistance, but only a 74 overall, meaning he's probably going to be a lot more affordable, even though the interest isn't quite there, and we would have to try to develop him. So maybe we need Persitis. Let's see what happens with Persitis. Oh yeah, 6'8". Under 10K? Yes, please. Give him leader role. Let's keep him right at that 9,000. Okay, let's try 10,000. Let's try on the verge of 11. Oh, that is close. Please tell me I'm phrased this enough. 11.7. Yes, okay, we got him. 12K. It's 11 left. All right, so we're going to take a look at Caponera, who's that 74 overall, but he's a good climber. Again, this is one of your support kind of guys in the area. And he wants, we'll try important rider. See what happens with the 8,000. Doesn't like the money. But if we push to 10, we only have a little more. This is all we have left to offer. And that's not going to do it. I don't know, actually, if I might be able to squeeze out 11.4. Oh, 99. Ouch. So close. $27. Nope, he wants too much money as well. So with one rider out and 2 new riders in, team gets slightly larger for next year. That puts us to 21 from 20, which is just about the number you need to manage 3 races. That's a good thing. But the biggest thing is 2 sprinters out, 2 sprinters in, with a real upgrade on one of those. And then a new classics rider, which has been a real weakness for this team. That puts us at 4 proper classics riders on the team. And again, developing that, a bit further from where we were. An 80 cobble rating is the best we would have. You throw in that 75 stamina and a decent flat rating, and at just 24 years of age, Presidus has plenty of room for growth and development. And sprint at 67 is not great, but you train that a little bit, and they're going to get better. So we're definitely talking about a step in the right direction. And actually, technically, we've already that puts us at 5 classics riders now on the squad. So you're starting to develop a group that's going to be a bit more capable, especially when they start operating together, right? We always have classics riders who either support sprinters, or we have non-classics riders trying to support classics riders, and then they get dropped early. If you can get enough classics riders on your team where you can take a weaker classics rider and protect a stronger classics rider, you're getting that much deeper into the races. So there's a real positive sign there as you hash that out more and more season on season. So this group getting better and better. You can see we are now a 4.5-star team. So that's what progress, what massive progress from where we started this series at. Really excited by that. Now, we still have 11,000 to play with, but I don't think there's anybody out there that is going to be worth spending that money on. I still want to treat this realistically, as if we were going on to another season. And if we're just being real, there's nobody else that's worth that money that we can get our hands on right now, that we know enough about, that can develop in a certain way. We've got our position secure, and we might need that money for future endeavors, as in expiring contracts in 2029. Now, in terms of expiring contracts in 2029, you got for Mark, who we would probably let go at that point. He's fully developed. He's got no levels left. He's not getting any better, and he's going to ask for a lot of money, and he gets a rare win, but not much. He has so many off days. He's not a good enough climber for that punch rating to be very effective very often. Talipov is expiring. At this point, he wouldn't be that hard to re-sign, wouldn't cost us that much, and especially for Mark's money, he would be a fraction of that, and so he probably would be a decent re-signing. But then you're looking at a whole group of riders that at this point are now the bottom feeders for this squad. Now, you've got a few classics guys. You probably want to re-sign some of those. Jorgensen might finally be able to be allowed to be let go and get a younger classics rider. Gio is developing, so you definitely want to retain him, but that should be cheap. And then you'd have Liechtenstein and Telford. Oh, no, Liechtenstein's still not expiring. You got Eric Butt expiring. So we would need a new puncher. We would need a new classics rider. David Killen would probably be excused. Johnson would probably be excused in favor of another younger climber who's going to develop and be similar to him, but, better. So yeah, that would be a big year, so saving that 11K for that next season, I think would be a very wise move. But you can see it right now. look at this depth that this squad suddenly has entering next season. 77 plus. We're looking at 7 riders in 77 plus range. That's incredible. That is incredible. And outside of Remark, we're looking at 23 or younger for all of them, meaning they're still very, very early in their leveling process. And only one of those is expiring next year, and it's the old man, and it's the one who's already developed. So that's a scary group. This is that team we've been trying to build towards throughout this series that would go out there and be scary good. And so we've kind of done it right in the end, but we've also kind of run right out of room. That is going to do it for this episode. Those busy times just from the beginning of this recording till right now, that life and throwing punches. Yeah. I'm going to be on the road again here in a few hours and busy, and I'm not going to see my home for nearly a week, taking care of some family. So I'm going to pack up my computer, take it with me, and get done what I can, which I don't know how much that's going to be. So wish me luck. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.